Hey, how's it going, YouTube TGIF? I'm Joshua Dufferina. I'm about to make the news a whole lot more interesting for you. But first, in my last video, I asked you what kind of person is breaking the law by grounding their children, and this is what you guys said. And today's question of today is, what kind of person is breaking the law? So let's get into today's story. We're talking about top 4. Disciplining children needs to be a crime. We're on to the number 4 spot. Andy Fallon broke the law by grounding his 13-year-old daughter named Ashley Fallon. So Ashley Fallon cried in her bedroom. So Fallon decided to call the cops on Andy Fallon. Are you serious, Ashley? You just got grounded. You're going to call the cops on your father? Doesn't the cops have better things to do? If the police answers the phone call, how are they going to have enough time going to, like, Krispy Kreme donuts or eat breakfast at home? So when the cops came, they talked to Andy Fallon, and they realized this is his 3rd crime that he's committed. In the state of Florida, they have a new strike law, which means if you punish a child, discipline a child, you could go to jail and find charges for it. So Ashley Fallon was taken into a independent home and has to live by herself. And the father, named Andy Fallon, well, he was sentenced to wait to jail for 5 years. And that was disciplining a child. That needs to be a crime. And we're moving on to the number 3 spot. We're on the number 3 spot. Richard Bailey lost his temper, and what he decided to do was just put his 5-year-old son named John Bailey in a timeout corner, hours after he cried in a timeout corner. After he was badly put in a timeout corner, and Richard Bailey did not call the cops, though. So, John Bailey, that was put in the corner, called the cops and said, "My father named Richard Bailey put me in timeout corner." So the cops are called, and when the cops came, they talked to Richard Bailey, and they realized this is his 5th crime that he's committed. In the state of Florida, they have a new strike law, which means if you punish a child, discipline a child, you could go to jail and find charges for it. So John Bailey was taken into a independent home, has to live by himself. And the father, named Richard Bailey, well, he was sentenced to wait to jail for 10 years. What the heck is that? That is such a short or long time in jail. When Richard Bailey gets out, he's going to forget that was even in jail. "Oh yeah, I was in jail," He'll say, "the rest, I was in jail for putting John Bailey in a timeout corner." Richard will say, "That was like a short or a long sentence." Okay, and we're on to the number 3 spot. Let's talk about Mikayla Bravo. Mikayla Bravo, that lives in Dallas, Texas, lost her temper, and what she decided to do was just ground her 15-year-old daughter named Patricia Bravo, hours after she cried in the timeout corner or her bedroom. After she was badly put in timeout, so Patricia Bravo did not think of calling 911. So a stranger came in and called the cops, and Mikayla Bravo was shocked and upset, though. So the cops are called, and when the cops came, they talked to Mikayla Bravo in Dallas, Texas, and the cops told her, if you don't get that child out of the timeout corner, if you don't get Patricia Bravo out of the timeout corner, you're going to go to jail. So Mikayla Bravo did not listen, so the cops decided to handcuff Mikayla Bravo. So she was sentenced to jail for 25 years for grounding her 15-year-old daughter named Patricia Bravo. And let's move on to the number 1 last number spot. George SquarePants is sent to jail for 12 years for disciplining his 7-year-old daughter named Katie SquarePants. So Katie SquarePants is a 7-year-old who got put in a timeout corner. So Katie SquarePants decided to call the cops on George SquarePants. Are you serious? Katie SquarePants You just got put in a timeout corner. Seriously, you just got put in a timeout corner. You're gonna call the cops on your father? George SquarePants, doesn't the cops have better things to do? If the police answers the phone call, how are they gonna have enough time going to like McDonald's or Krispy Kreme for breakfast time? So when the cops came, they talked to George SquarePants, and they realized this is his 10th crime that he's committed. In the state of Florida, they have a new strike law, which means if you discipline a child, punish a child, make a child do what a child is told to do, you could go to jail and find charges for it. So, on the number 4 spot, when Ashley Fallon is living in an independent home, she has to cook and do good things. Ashley Fallon has to do good things when she lives on her own, while Andy Fallon is in jail for 5 years, and John Bailey has to live on his own and has to cook and do whatever he wants by doing good stuff, not bad stuff. And that means John Bailey will cook himself some food while his father Richard is in jail in South Dakota. And Ashley Fallon is in North Dakota, has to live on her own, while Andy Fallon is in jail for 5 years. John Bailey has to live on his own for 10 years, while Richard Bailey is jailed. So in North Dakota, Ashley Fallon lives on her own for 5 years, and in South Dakota, Richard Bailey is jailed for 10 years, and the 5-year-old son, John Bailey, has to live on his own by doing good stuff. And in Dallas, Texas, Patricia Bravo has to live on her own for 25 years for being grounded by his mother, Mikayla Bravo. So Patricia Bravo has to live on her own and never get told by a parent. Okay? And number 4 spot, George SquarePants in Austin, Texas. So George SquarePants is sent to jail. So he was sentenced to 12 years in prison for disciplining his 7-year-old daughter named Katie SquarePants. So George Zimmerman was sentenced to 12 years in prison, and Katie SquarePants has to live by herself by doing whatever she wants, by doing good stuff, okay? In Austin, Texas. What do you guys think about the top 4? Disciplining children needs to be a crime, and you should know that disciplining children needs to be a crime. Children will not do bad stuff. They will do whatever they want by doing good stuff while they live on their own. Okay? While their parents are locked up in jail for years. Okay? Well, anyways, viewers, that's all the resource I have for you guys today. That was your Monday's episode. That was your Monday's video. Thank you so much for watching. That's all the resource I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoy the one, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Shh.